freedom fighters, coming back at you with another edition of Truck Talk. Well, today we're going to talk about this conversation I was having with a friend the other day, and he's a liberal. Yeah, I actually have a few liberal friends left, and I mean, would I really call him a friend? Not really, but, a acquaintance that, where I guess somewhat cordial with. Usually the only people still in my life who are liberals that I converse with are, like family or, longtime friends, or some of them are friends of other friends that kind of just like hang around. We see each other here and there, but, they know what I'm about. I know what they're about, and we usually just abide by what I would call Thanksgiving table manners, where we just agree not to talk about politics and all that, and kind of just put that aside, and whenever we do see each other or meet up and go do something, or, go out to eat or something like that, we don't talk about politics. But, it usually doesn't happen that way, does it? And this one guy always brings stuff up because it's almost like he's looking for a fight. He loves to, debate and have arguments. And, I'm cool with it if he wants to get into it. But, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And how he just, like, it's almost indescribable how these people think. And it's kind of, I did that, that video recently about the stupidest or the smartest stupid person I know, and how people just think differently. But the arguments and the stuff he comes up with, and just all the stuff we were talking about, was ridiculous. But one of the main things he was saying, it's they're always the victim and you're always the problem, is basically what it came down to. But, towards the end of the conversation, was just like, you guys are going to get violent if this stuff doesn't go your way. And, if Trump doesn't win this thing, I know you guys are, all you fascists are, going to, get violent and do all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, you don't think you're going to do the same thing? Like, you guys think if Trump does win, that you guys aren't going to go frickin', banana brains retarded or whatever. Like, it's going to be the same thing. But, there's another group out there that, what's the saying? They cry out in pain as they strike you. And that's kind of what he is. He's like, the blame is always on you. They're pushing attack mode 24/7 and accusing you of what they plan to do or what they are doing. Rules for radicals. And we've talked about it before. Saul Alinsky's rule for radicals. And, it's like, they're always like, oh no, you guys are doing this and you're corrupt and, you guys are doing that. It says, no, the corruption is from you. The unconstitutional orders is from your side. The anti-freedom, stuff, it comes from all sides, really, but it really comes from the left. But then he's like, accusing of, oh yeah, you guys are going to get violent. You guys are fascist. I'm like, bro, you're the fascist. Like Reagan said, right? If fascism ever comes to America, it's going to come from liberalism. And, it's already been here, right? Like Obama was a fascist. I mean, can you imagine a Clinton presidency? The country was over, if she won. And I've talked about that before, where I almost thought Donald Trump was controlled opposition because, it put everybody to sleep, where a Clinton presidency would have, set everybody on fire, would have, put a fire up under people's asses to go do something. Well, here we are again, with, on the brink of Kamala Harris, and they're basically just like trying to, put people in submission and already calling out, oh, you're going to get violent if, Kamala wins. Oh, you guys are going to do something. Well, the street goes both ways, but still, it only matters when one side does something. And they only call out one side. And the media doesn't care if Antifa or BLM burn down the cities because they believe it's rightfully so. They are in favor of that action. The only thing that's going to get any press or coverage is when the right does it. But, and it kind of brings me to this other thing I was going to say is like, we have to start acting like them. And yeah, they're going to go, down in the gutter as far as they can go, and Michelle Obama uses that saying, like, right, when they go low, we have to hit high or whatever. And it's BS because they're always going low. But, again, they rule almost from this, like they pretend to have the moral high ground. But they are the true scum. They are the lowest of the low. And they play as dirty as, they can get. And they try to act stupid and play it off. But, I've always said, like, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Like Hillary Clinton when she gets, pulled in front of Congress or they're grilling her. And they're like, yeah, you wiped your computer. You cleaned all your software. She's like, what, with a cloth? And then our side lets that slide. They let it go because we operate in good faith. And again, we're above all that. We don't arrest our, political opponents. It's garbage. Same with Biden and all the corruption. We're like, oh yeah, it's there. But, at the end of the day, the report is he's just an honest old man that, doesn't deserve, to be charged. And he's just a forgetful old man. That's bull. It's what our side does. And then we have these, political ads is another thing I wanted to talk about. But you see, all these different political ads recently. And the one I've been seeing over and over and over that they're harping on is Project 2025. And they constantly talk about, Project 2025 and his agenda when Trump has already said over and over again that he's disavowed 2025. He says he has nothing to do with it. But the saying, if you say something enough, if you repeat something over and over again, it'll become true. Or they'll attempt to try to make it true. But you don't see our side doing this. And 2025 is a completely made up, thing from a think tank, a conservative, think tank. It has nothing ground in reality. But what is real is Agenda 21. How come you don't hear any of our side talking about that? How come they aren't talking about Agenda 2030 and 2050 and all this stuff that's in Agenda 21? Because, again, our side, they don't go into that. And they believe that to be a fringe conspiracy theory, right? And that's why they don't want to dabble into those waters. Because they're like, oh, no, that's getting into, extremism. And oh, no, man, you think they're trying to, set forth deals to, stop, gas cars or, put restrictions on farmers for, climate change and all this stuff and switch people over to electric vehicles and electric lawnmowers and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that they're doing right in front of your face, banning wood stoves, banning fireplaces, banning gardens, all this stuff they do to stop, self-sustainability and independence. But the Republican Party will never talk about this. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have some kind of local or state candidate talking about calling out the left for their Agenda 21 policies and what they do, then, link it below and let us all in on who these candidates are. But, And the other thing I see constantly, I saw this one ad the other day where some congressman or senator or something was like, and you could hear in his voice the trembling and the sadness. He's like, I fear for a world for my daughter where Donald Trump is president and these MAGA Supreme Court justices don't let women get their abortions. And my daughter is going to have to grow up in this world, and she ain't going to be able to sleep around and, sleep with the whole football team and get a train run on her and, go to those college parties and, chug down a kegger and, get real screwed up and then, get her vagina pumped out the next morning. And I'm sick of it, man. And it's like, yeah, you got what's the Seinfeld lady, the Veep lady, Dreyfus something. But yeah, she was on there doing some infomercial the other day. I just want the government, out of my snatch. Well, I want the government out of our lives, period. I want the government, from outside of my home, from outside of my life, so they're not door kicking anymore and putting a bullet in my head for being free. That's what I want. And, and you don't see any of these Republicans coming out with these same ads. Like, they're like, oh, but my daughter, I live in fear of my daughter not being able to have her rights to control her body. Where are the Republicans saying, I fear for my son or my nephew, my father, my whoever? I fear for their life, for their constitutional rights, that they won't get Brian Milanowski'd, or Sean Rode, or Duncan Lempt, or Gary Willis, or Bill Cooper, or Lavoy Finicum, or Randy Weaver, or Branch Davidian, David Koresh, on and on and on. Where is that? Where are the Republicans? Where is the right-wing leadership saying, if these people take hold, they're going to be door kicking and killing my family members for their freedom? Yet these Democrats are out here, my daughter can't sleep around and be a little whore. Like, are you freaking kidding me, man? And I remember this interview a long time ago with Bill Maher, and I think it was Bannon. And he was like, man, again, accusing us of what they do. And he was telling Bannon, I wish we had people like you. And Bannon's like, what do you mean? And he's like, we don't have dirty people like you. We don't fight like the right. We're not dirty like you guys. And I'm like, in what world is he talking about? Again, they are the dirtiest of dirty. They are the scum, but they accuse you of being that. And we just don't fight back, and we don't act like it's a real thing. And I remember in that interview, too, I forget what else he was saying, but he was like, oh, man, you guys do that and this. And Bannon was like, man, you guys do everything, 10 times over. But, I guess the moral of the story is we just have to start, acting like these people. And really, just at the end of the day, well, I did a video a while back, like, I don't care about the optics. You just got to stop caring what these people think. Who cares what the media reports? Who cares what, they're going to say? Just do what you got to do and be free. And consequences be damned, because there will be consequences when, we got these tyrants roaming around. So, yeah, man, that's kind of the conversation today. Add to it what you want. Like, share, subscribe. You know all the stuff. And until the next one, you know what it is. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.